Welcome to topic 2.1 of module 2. This video will focus on the different fluid compartments of our body. During the course of this video, try and answer as many questions as you can from module 2, topic 2.1. The learning objectives for this topic are to describe the major fluid compartments of our body, understand the major differences in the composition of interstitial fluid and intracellular fluid, understand that the plasma membrane separates the extracellular fluid from the intracellular fluid, describe the basic composition of blood, and to understand how the blood plasma, a special extracellular fluid compartment, influences interstitial fluid, which in turn influences the intracellular fluid compartment. Water makes up a significant portion of the human body. It contributes to 45 to 75% of our total body weight. However, this percentage can vary with gender, age, and proportions of muscle and fat. In infants, water constitutes for up to 75% of their body weight. The figure for water in males is roughly 60% and for females around 50%. As we age, water percentage in our body declines, accounting for only 45% of body mass. An average man of around 70 kilograms holds roughly 40 litres of water, which accounts for 60% of his body weight. Water in our body is distributed into two major compartments. Those two compartments are the intracellular fluid compartment, also called the ICF, and the extracellular fluid compartment, also called the ECF. Intracellular fluid is the water present inside the cell and is not freely movable. ICF accounts for 2/3 of total body water and 40% of our body weight. In an adult male weighing around 70 kilograms, the ICF accounts for about 25 litres of body water. Intracellular fluid is separated from the extracellular fluid by a plasma membrane. Intracellular fluid also has a high concentration of potassium and other anions, including proteins. However, its sodium concentration is lower than that in the extracellular fluid compartment. The extracellular fluid compartment is subdivided into two different compartments. The interstitial fluid contains all the water between cells and the blood vessels. Interstitial fluid makes up for 80% of the extracellular fluid compartment and up to 14% of our total body weight. Blood plasma makes up 20% of the extracellular fluid and accounts for 5% of our body weight. Water is the main component of blood plasma, and roughly 93% of our blood plasma is water. 1/3 of total body water, for example in a man weighing 70 kilograms, that would be 15 litres, is extracellular fluid. Out of that 15 litres, 12 litres is interstitial fluid and 3 litres is plasma. Interstitial fluid and blood plasma within the extracellular fluid compartment are separated by a thin, single layer of cells called the capillary endothelium. The capillary endothelium is a permeable membrane that allows the exchange of fluids, electrolytes, and gases. Some large molecules such as glucose and amino acids are impermeable to the plasma membrane, meaning that they can't get through. Finally, transcellular fluid makes up for 1% of our body weight. Water in cerebral spinal fluid, urine and digestive system, and the synovial fluid in our joints all fall under the transcellular fluid compartment. For the body to remain hydrated, water intake must be equal to water output. Daily intake of water varies from person to person and is strongly influenced by habit and environmental factors. On average, an adult human being consumes between 1.5 to 3 litres of water per day from various liquid and solid sources. Ingested water is first absorbed into the plasma, which is then distributed to the interstitial compartment and then on to the intracellular compartment. Water output in the body occurs via several routes. The kidneys excrete up to 60% of total water in the form of urine. Certain forms of water loss from the body are unavoidable, such as water that evaporates out of the lungs in the expired air, or water that diffuses directly out of the skin. Furthermore, we may lose between 200 ml and 1 litre of water through sweat depending on environmental factors. Finally, a small amount of water is lost in the feces. Electrolytes dissociate into ions in an aqueous solution like water. The most common example is salt or sodium chloride. In water, sodium chloride dissociates into sodium ions and chloride ions. Because these ions are charged, they have the ability to conduct an electrical current, and that is the reason why they're called electrolytes. Ions with a positive charge are called cations, while ions with a negative charge are called anions. The concentrations of electrolytes and other substrates such as glucose and proteins all differ between compartments. Electrolytes in our body contribute to most of the total solute concentration in all of our fluid compartments. They play a key role in the movement of water across the membranes and in between different compartments through a process called diffusion. Increased blood pressure after having a salty meal is one of the most common examples of how electrolytes can move water across different membranes and fluid compartments. After having a salty meal, the total sodium concentration in your blood increases. Increased sodium ions in our blood attracts more water into the extracellular compartment to normalize the sodium levels, thereby increasing the blood volume. Due to increased blood volume, more pressure is exerted on the vessel walls, which causes an increase in blood pressure. Electrolyte concentrations differ between fluid compartments. A quick glance at the bar graph reveals that the ECF and ICF fluid compartments each have a distinctive set of concentrations of key electrolytes. However, the plasma and interstitial fluid have identical concentrations of electrolytes. Intracellular fluid contains a small amount of sodium and chloride. The most abundant cation in the ICF is potassium. ICF also contains substantial quantities of soluble protein anions. In contrast to this, the extracellular fluid has significantly higher levels of sodium as their chief cation and chloride as the major anion. Plasma also contains non-penetrating proteins. In order for our body to function, a constant exchange of gases, solutes, and water across the different compartments is necessary. All the substances in the plasma must pass through the interstitial fluid to reach the intracellular fluid within the cells, and vice versa. A constant exchange of substances occurs between the blood plasma and various organs such as the lungs, the gastrointestinal tract, and the kidneys. Blood acts as the chief transporter, distributing nutrients and oxygen to the tissue, while collecting carbon dioxide and metabolic waste from that tissue. For any substance from the blood plasma to reach a respective organ, it has to pass through the interstitial fluid. Also keep in mind that the movement of all substances in and out of the cell must occur through the cell membrane. Substances move across plasma membranes in two different ways: passive transport and active transport. In passive transport, substances move across the membrane without any energy input from the cell. Here, substances move from a high concentration to a low concentration, or down the concentration gradient. Diffusion is one of the major types of passive transport in our body. In active transport, substances are moved from a low concentration to a high concentration, which is the exact opposite of diffusion. In active transport, the substances are moved up the concentration gradient using protein transporters. Hence, constant energy is needed to move substances across the membrane. We will learn in detail about the active and passive transport processes in the next couple of videos. So in summary, from this video, we have learnt about the three different fluid compartments of our body. We've also learnt about different electrolytes and their concentration in the fluid compartments. And finally, we've also learnt about the constant exchange of solutes between those compartments.